I would like to introduce Professor Poshnikov from Moscow, who is the newly elected president of the International Center for Raric. Our other guest is this apex body of art. And of course, Mr. Rozovsky, who is the director of the Russian Center for Science and Culture.
And this is the first event that is being organized by the Academy of Theatrical Studies, and I'm very happy around many of the colleagues who are present here.
Taken a leap in the dark, both from the Indian side as well as the Russian side. The trouble with individuals in the pre-modern and the early modern is that their testimony and their presence goes unrecorded. And it is only through certain shadows that remain in very feeble documentation that it is possible for us to...
From International Center of Rarics, Moscow. When the expedition started in 1924, Nicholas Raric was 50 years old. By that time, his achievements in culture, science, and public activities were quite significant. He was an academician of the Russian Academy of Arts. His paintings were exhibited in many major museums of the world and enjoyed great popularity. Museum named after him was opened in New York. Its exposition included a big number of master's paintings.
In a way, out of that idea comes the different versions of Tibet and the Himalayan region. Different forms of the same thing. The kind of taxonomized colonial version, which in some ways was undone by the spiritual ideas embodied by different thinkers of the late 19th and early 20th century, of whom Raric was one. The modern idea of the same region.
The artist's concern for the safety of ancient buildings and all works of art came to the fore again in 1914 at the start of the First World War. He made a proposal at that time to the Russian government for a treaty of protection among nations. The proposal met with interest, but warfare prevented multilateral negotiations.
Like the heart of the world building. This is the house, already house in the winter. Very beautiful and in summer. So we reconstructed something of the house of the inside interiors of the Raric house, preserved it as a museum. Around the balcony, this is the library of the Raric. So people are coming, tourists from all over the world. This is study of Helena Raric. During the season, we are having up to 500 to 700 people per day. This is old Raric scar, which was done, nicely reconstructed. This is reconstructed by our friends from the Russian embassy, and it's displayed. And this is Samadhi, yes, by Russian embassy.
Does it run?
It can. This is Samadhi of Nicholas Raric. And the cooperation which is already, the work which is going there is really powerful in spite of all those problems which His Excellency mentioned today. So all places were in ruins. One by one, houses were during the Raric time, so this is the reconstructed. And thanks to help rendered by former Prime Minister of India, Mr. Vajpayee, who is a passionate, let's say, admirer of Nicholas Drake, he gave us financial assistance.
Professor Shen Mayaram, who is now I can describe as my co-morning walker in Lodi Garden, because we cross the road every morning. If I'm by chance, if I'm walking clockwise, she happens to be walking anti-clockwise and vice versa. Anyway, we meet every morning. And otherwise also, of course, very well-known scholar and illustrious late father gave very deep impression on my mind.
Elena Rörig, their mother, spent her last years, and we met in 2004 in April there, and our Italian colleagues have done so much to memorialize the Rörig heritage in India. Friends, yesterday night I came from Bangalore. I was accompanying our Deputy Prime Minister, Mr. Sobyanin, on his visit to the nuclear power station at Kudankulam, and then we visited Bangalore. But to tell you the truth, and I will want to share my grief and I was heartbroken indeed with my friend Dr. Karan Singh. The situation with several dozens of paintings of Svetoslav in Bangalore is really heartbreaking. Here I brought the photograph of one of the paintings. It is almost completely rotten. This is the portrait of Raya Bogdanova, their housemaid. These paintings are under custody of the Home Ministry because litigation is still going on, as you have mentioned.
Our Home Ministry is Central Home Ministry?
State Home Ministry. In 2004, they have taken out these paintings, and now they are dying, but they cannot be taken for restoration because they are under litigation. And while we wait, these precious things will perish.
What is the litigation about?
The litigation is that their former secretary has claimed all the rights to that estate of Tataguri, pretending to be the only heir of the Rörigs, though all her papers were fake, and she was arrested at one time. But then she was set free on bail. But still litigation is going on, though the government of Karnataka did take a decree to nationalize the estate long ago. But she is again, and you know how things are with the British type of law system.
Very diplomatic.
Put the blame on the British.
That is why, friends, I hope you will agree that hardly is it possible to highlight the many splendored palette of the Rörig family's creative genius in one short presentation, and I'm not going to do it. Dr. Karan Singh did it so graphical. Everyone who at least once encountered this heritage knows it is truly inexhaustible and unlimited. Many theoretical aspects of the Rörig's teachings and the significance of their creative work for the contemporary world have been dwelt upon during the first day of the seminar and will also be discussed today.
Feelings like mountain league. If it happens, it calls for much more serious karmic consequences than before, because the new knowledge invariably presupposes a new level of responsibility. Thus, instead of narrow material and understanding of physical phenomena, a person gets a wide breakthrough to the world of subtle energies or the causal law. This gives a knowledge of what is happening in this world, one may be able to perceive the origin and understand the
Didi, what is immortality?
Our birth is but a sleep and a forgetting. The soul that rises with us, our life's star, hath had elsewhere its setting, and cometh from afar.